What's happening, everyone? Day 32. So, today's a big episode. And I wanted to share this moment with you guys. So, this ain't no sentimental thing. Like, but this is the first sketchbook I'm ever going to finish. So, this is the history behind it. So, beforehand, uh, this wasn't like the first start of like my art journey, right? So, I mean, this is the first time I'm like doing it on YouTube and like trying to do all that, which eventually I always wanted to do. But at first, I wanted to wait until my skills were a little bit better. But I figured, why not start now? But previously, um, I started my art journey back in 23, right? So that's when I first got this sketchbook. And I was pretty solid all the way up until April. I think I actually started in January. I'm not really a big New Year's resolution type of dude, but um, for some reason, I get like pretty big on like trying to start new stuff around that time. I don't know. Like I'm purposely not trying to do like the whole New Year's resolution type thing, but it happens. But oh my goodness, I'm drawing this a little bit too big. But anyway, um, I started back in 2023, right? And at first, I was cool, right? Up until April. Eventually, I just kind of stopped, and I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just me getting down on my luck because I have a habit of not continuing stuff once it gets like a little bit difficult. So I want to say that probably was what it was, most likely. And every now and again I would always touch it, but I would never stick with it. So eventually I started back up again in 24, right, the following year, and same thing happened. So eventually, I want to say maybe around November of that year, it was basically like, hey, I actually want to accomplish something and stop give. Sorry, I keep jumbling up my words, but I didn't want to keep starting and stopping something and just giving up, right? So what happened was I would always like put it off. I always procrastinated. Jesus, didn't mean to say that in vain. I apologize, Lord. But anyway, um, yeah. So I would always do that, and then eventually, sometime in January, I just decided, hey, why not just go with it, right? I also had a friend that kind of like uh pushed me a little bit to get started on it. And at first, I was like, oh, I gotta get a PC set up and all that, and he was like, nah, just get a tripod, hook your phone up, and get started. And that's pretty much what I did, right? So, um, what was it starting January? I want to say maybe might have been February. I can't remember, but yeah, around that time I started the channel. And to be honest with you guys, I wasn't fully confident that I was actually going to stick through with it. Of course, I was going to start. I know that, right? I was going to at least have like a good chunk of videos. But funny enough, jeez, I can't draw a E for my life. Apologies for the camera shake. But anyway, I started my videos, did it for like about like a week, right? And I kind of got a little bit discouraged. And I don't know if it was because I wasn't satisfied with my progress or if it was just, the amount of people that were like watching. I figured it was gonna probably blow up a little bit sooner, but like that's kind of stupid. Like, why would you expect that to happen as soon as it did? But yeah, so for like about like a week, I didn't post, I want to say. And honestly, because I know exactly how I am as a person, there was a likely chance I probably would have stopped the channel right there. And the reason I say that is because, I'm one of those people where it's hard for me to start stuff back up, right? So, like, let's say I'll start working out. If I don't work out for a week, I'm just less likely to keep going with it. And I think that's probably for everybody, but I just realized that's something for me. Like, I know some people, they'll like quit for like a week and then actually just get straight back into it like it's nothing. But I know for me at least, um, if I'm like not doing it for like a week or so, like I'll just quit it. But anyway, I actually wasn't gonna post on a Sunday because I don't ever post on Sundays. And okay, this is a little religious moment for me, but I remember I was reading my Bible and it was something about, you know, and this is not, like a discussion or anything like that. I'm not trying to, trying to push it on anybody. This is just my personal experience and the reason I keep going with this. But anyway, I had an experience. I was at work and I forgot what I was reading in the Bible exactly. But I just remember me being like, how can I show my faith? And for some reason in my mind, it was just like kind of like a voice, but not really. It wasn't like a visible voice, but it was just something in my mind that just said, like, you'll post a video today. I was like, why would I do that? So honestly, I wasn't even going to, but I was like, you know what? What's gonna hurt about it? And I can't exactly remember what video it was. I gotta check it again. But I remember making that video, and when I did that, it wasn't like a major explosion that happened in the channel, but it was a big enough jump to where I was like surprised, and I was like, "There's no way." And at that point, like it kind of made me realize, like, "Hey, yeah, I should definitely stick with it." Um, And the other reason I stuck with it was low key because of you guys and because of the support you guys have been giving me and you guys subscribing, liking, and doing all that. So I really appreciate that. Uh, for sticking around. I know right now I'm still dealing with this tripod and maybe a few camera shakes and the audio's not the best, of course, but everything's gonna change pretty soon. Actually, I'm currently looking at PC parts because I'm hoping to order and get them by next week. So yeah, but seeing like the support, some of the comments, and you guys sticking through, because I also check like I'll be checking to make sure if you guys be watching. So uh, I definitely see a good like attention rate, and you guys are actually like watching the videos. Like it'll show you like subscribed and not subscribed, like who's watching. So um, yeah. But anyway, I just kept going and I start seeing improvement and I'm just like, yeah, I can't really give this up now. Like I got to keep going with it. So I just think it's really crazy how, and I don't know, maybe this is just me thinking, whatever, but I just kind of find it weird how like I actually finished like this sketchbook and I can't show you guys the earlier parts. I really want to, and I definitely will one day. But the reason I can't is because it has a lot of material for uh the comic manga series I want to make. Not exactly for the graphic novel, which leads up into that, but um, it has a lot of like concepts and stuff I was trying to draw at first. But I'll definitely show you guys one day. But yeah, it just made me think and realize like it's crazy to see how far I got. And when I look back at some of those old drawings, I'm just like, yee. And then seeing how it is now, like, of course, this isn't great, right? I drew this before I made this video. It took me like 45 minutes, I want to say. So it took a good minute. But, even with that, I'm just really proud of the fact that I stuck through with it. And, I'm seeing improvement. It's not just like for waste. And there's gonna be points where I'm just kind of stuck, right? It's kind of like working out. Like sometimes you have like that gradual climb, and then eventually you kind of stop, and then it takes like, who knows, could be like 2 to 4 months or even more than that, and then eventually you can pass your weight limit and then keep moving. So it's just stuff like that. But yeah, I just think it's really cool too how this is all happening before. A lot of big changes will be happening to the channel, obviously, when I get the PC set up and I can start streaming and making videos that way and reels. And I'm also planning on buying sorry, I keep saying a drawing tablet. So I'll definitely be working with more. I keep saying, oh, I need to stop this. It's such a bad habit. But yeah, I'm thinking it's like a Wacom 1 or something. So I'm just waiting for the person to respond, and hopefully I can buy it pretty soon. He was selling it for like 75, but I gotta see it first before I believe it's still in great condition. So, but yeah, a lot of changes will be happening very soon. I believe possibly in May should be when that all happens. But yeah, I just think it's really cool how, and you can obviously tell that I had this for a minute because the pages are kind of worn out a little bit. Like you probably get like a yellow tint from it, and sometimes you'll notice on video it's not the same as the other sketchbook I use for my videos when I just want to do like a basic example or something. I keep this for other stuff. Like look at this. This is day one stuff right here. Ooh, all this. This is like day one stuff. But yeah, this sketchbook I usually use for my YouTube. On occasions, I will use this. It just depends on what it is. Like the video I did, I keep saying, I apologize. Look, you guys got work, or you guys got to have patience with me. I'll eventually stop. I need to work on my speech a lot, and it's kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like when you're trying to draw and try to do this or talk at the same time, it's kind of tough. Like keep saying, oh man. But that's come. I have like a greater appreciation for YouTubers or any content creator that can play video games and talk at the same time, because I couldn't do that stuff either. At least not unhinged. Like yeah, you do that in front of an audience all the time. Oh, but yeah, this is like an actual personal sketchbook I use. Uh, that you guys on the occasion you'll see, right? I'll be like, hey, this is what I was working on the other day, and you'll see it. But yeah, I just think it's really cool how it's finally time to put this one up and get started on the next one. And I got the same one too, so I can tell that the pages are uh, more white on that one. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys for sticking through with me. See the progress, and eventually, we'll reach the goal of me making my graphic novel. Hopefully, you guys enjoy it. I'm actually more nervous for the first one than I am for the second and third one, because I know once I make that first one, everything will be smooth. But it's a little bit unconventional, you could say. But yeah, I don't plan on starting that anytime soon. Like I'm actually making like practice panels at the moment, and I showed my friend a few. But the pages are really small, so it's hard for me to like draw faces. Like this isn't even a face I would usually make. I would probably make a more uh, artistic face. This is kind of basic, but yeah. So at first I was thinking maybe I'll just do, or when I'm drawing it, I'll just do it all on paper and then ink it. But I'm starting to think I might just actually do it digitally, and then at least the backgrounds. The backgrounds will definitely be digitally, and I'm gonna draw it digitally and then put it physical, or print it out, ink it physically, and then I'll scan it back in. But yeah. which that reminds me, I need to get a scanner too. But yeah, that is. And honestly, I was actually going to draw this first for the video, but it took me a lot longer. I actually had to look at a reference to get the leg cross. It was kind of tough. I ain't gonna lie about that. It was kicking my butt. You know, it was throwing hands with me. So I had to figure that out. And you know, obviously, I also like this too because I feel like it's a good amalgamation, excluding stuff maybe like perspective and maybe like a little bit of like proportions. But I'm glad I can actually draw a real body now, kind of, and I can kind of draw like the 3D shapes with it and kind of get that figured out. I can kind of draw hands now a little bit. Uh, you can obviously see the problems with it though. You know, it's not perfect. It's not meant to be perfect at all, but I'm just glad I'm seeing progress. So, but yeah, hope you guys liked the video. And I know originally I was supposed to do legs. Don't worry, we're doing that Monday. I promise y'all. Pinky promise on that. You know, I never break those. I never break a pinky promise. I'll say that. As corny as it is, I don't care. You never break them. I have a little cousin I always do that with. I'm like, hey man, I'm never breaking these. So, but yeah. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Look forward to the next video. Peace.